all of tonight's rescues are true stories. We've sometimes used actors and stuntmen, but everything you see is based on the accounts of the people involved. They've helped us to reconstruct events as they happened. Tonight on 999, the firemen investigating a case of smoke without fire trigger the blast that could have killed them all. The hang glider who tried to fly from the top of Ben Nevis but ended up hanging on the rock face. But for how long? And the boy who thought he could fly and survived by a fraction of an inch. Nearly 2 out of 3 fire stations in the United Kingdom, like this one, are operated by what's known as retained firefighters, men and women with full-time jobs who are prepared to down tools at a moment's notice when their bleepers go off. They're mainly in the country districts and in the suburbs. As with all the emergency services, their lives can be on the line, often when they least expect it. One night in 1993, the community of Kirkcudbright in West Scotland was faced with a devastating incident that will live long in the memory, particularly of the 6 men who were on duty that night.
The local people don't understand exactly what a part-time fireman entails in their mind, that we put out chimney fires and take cats off trees and whatever.
What have you got me going? Oh, just nearly getting to my bed. Lucky you.
You're on 24 hours a day, you're on call. We go to the bathroom, we take the pager with us. You're never part-time. In the early days, I thought I'll never cope with this excitement, this adrenaline. But you learn to calm down.
I'm a painter and decorator, it's my full-time job. Wherever you're work, you just make your way to the fire station.
I was the driver, and I was concentrating on getting the appliance to wherever it was going.
Tommy, it's on.
It's a smoke investigation.
There were another 3 men on board, all played here by actors. In charge that night was Sub-Officer Dougie Swan, his best friend for the last 30 years, Murray Kearney, and youngster of the team, Graham Blythman.
I think that's every boy's dream, isn't it? To get into a fire engine and roar up the street with blue lights and sirens sounding. And the rush of adrenaline really does happen.
We're just about to start the first Bacardi beeper goes, and here we are, and you don't know where we're going. I think that's terrible.
Everybody's got to go on with each other. You can fall out maybe one day, but when your pager goes off and you go to a fire, all that's forgotten about, and everybody mucks in. It's just like being brothers.
You're always going to have the experience of the hold their hands in the brigade. They're like fathers, some of them. And they're really, really close. And I don't think you can get any closer, apart from your families. The fire brigade, that's your next family.
Phil's beat us here, Tommy. Pull in.
A local policeman, Phil Need, had already located the barn and evacuated the houses nearby.
Right, the smoke comes from the barn in front of you there, and the woman says there's possibly gas cylinders in there.
Right. Tommy, take it over there, past it.
I drove the fire engine just beyond the building. I get out of the fire engine, go to the back of the pump and set up the pump. Dougie and Murray and Graham were then preparing to go towards the building.
Murray, come with me, get a Jamie. Graham, you bring the hose reel.
Just so happened that we were wearing the latest type of firefighting equipment, which is really more fire resistant than the previous kit we had.
They split into 2 groups. Tommy supervised John and Spiel, while Dougie, Murray and Graham approached the barn. Now they thought gas might be involved. They were going to take this very carefully.
You don't know what you're going to get. And when you arrive, sometimes you can see what you've got. But in this case, we couldn't see what we had, and these are the incidents that are most dangerous.
Don't see any flames. I can see some smoke though. There's some smoke, all right. Let's check by the window.
We know that there is a risk that there's gas in the building, but we've still got to locate the actual fire that's causing the smoke. The first thing we're going to find out if the interior of this building is hot.
Nothing. No, nothing at all, Murray. Let's see. How the glove off. cold. Stone cold? Yep. Can't feel anything. There's no heat in that door. No. Open that, Maria. Okay. Right. There you go, Dougie. Can you see anything?
White smoke.
White smoke?
Yep. You smell something?
No, I can't smell anything. Wait a minute. I can hear a kind of hissing noise.
What do you think it is?
That's gas.
We've had a warning of gas. We've got smoke issuing from the doorway and the hatch above the doorway. So you're always at the back of your mind is this thought, what is in here?
I think we get back and have a rethink, eh?
Let's get the...
It was a really horrific sight. So horrific that I thought, there's no way these lads are going to be able to come out of this. It was as bad as that. It was as if an aeroplane had dropped a bomb in a building.
It was simply the biggest explosion, the hottest flame I've ever witnessed in my life. I've seen the wall open out, almost brick for brick, with this huge fireball behind it, and the firemen being thrown like rag dolls through the air in front of it.
Hill 6-1, this is a major incident here at Mutehill. There's been some gas explosions. The firemen have been seriously injured.
All the wires were burning, hedges were burning, fireballs, explosions. It's just like a battlefield.
Very, very rapid experience. 1 minute it was in front of you, the next minute you were in it. I could feel myself being carried and you have no control over what your body's doing.
I thought I was dead. For split seconds.
And it's a strange thing, when you think you're going to die, you suddenly lose any fear you have. And I'm starting to look for this tunnel and this wonderful light, but it never came. There's just a lot of heat, and I thought I'm going to get burnt.
Fireball actually ripped right up through the top of the roof, taking the roof with it. Before the roof settled down again, another explosion carried the roof further up.
Although badly injured himself, Murray's training and his friendship for Dougie took over.
The cylinder that fell into its side, a sheet of flame right across the road, over the top of the Dougie. Everything stops to rescue a colleague. You always save your own men first. And that was always pumped into us at training.
Suddenly I hear a voice I'll never forget, and it's Murray. The next thing I know, he's crawled up beside me. And then I thought, well, if he's here, I'm fine. I'm going to be okay.
Move your legs! Feel my legs!
My biggest fear was that my back was broken.
Don't move me!
I've been to many an incident where we've had people injured, and I had the symptoms of their injuries.
Let's get in there and get him out!
We knew we had to get him out from there. He was going to fry and we were going to fry. That was the time I looked down and saw that Dougie was badly injured.
I could see blood coming from his trousers. He really was almost unconscious at that point. I thought he was going to die.
Murray, his sight had gone by this time.
I said to Tommy, I said, I can't see. It was terrible. I didn't really know what had happened, to tell you, whether it was shock or whether it was still this adrenaline flowing. But I said, I couldn't see. It just seemed to, after maybe about 5 minutes, there was nothing.
We'll have a head count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Sally going, who's missing? Come on, who's missing, boys?
Graham!
And you cut the heads again, there's still only 5. You think he'll come from somewhere. Quick, John, nip round the building and see where he is. You think, oh no, we've lost Graham. He's below that somewhere. And you go...
I personally was pretty certain that he was dead, that there was no way that he could actually have get out of there, because there was no sign of him when we actually got Dougie and Murray out. I was totally convinced that he was lying dead underneath the pile of rubble.
Graham had been crouched in front of the building. There was just a mass of rubble and flames. This chap has only been married a month, and all I could think of at that point was, how do we break the news to his wife? I just thought, I'm wasting my time here looking.
The only person who knew what had happened to Graham was Phil Need.
The firemen had been thrown all ways, but one of them, Graham Blythen, had been thrown towards me. And all I could see was a huge fireball and Graham Blytheman in front of it. I immediately moved the car further up the road, away from the heat, where we couldn't be affected by any further explosions that might throw debris our way, and then went back and pulled Graham Blytheman along the road and onto the grass verge. I say pulled him because he couldn't stand up, but I knew, having seen him thrown, that he would be seriously injured.
I just remember the intense heat, just a huge orange ball of fire coming towards us. It lifted me off my feet, flung me approximately 10 to 20 feet in the air. And I just nearly get married and leave my wife behind, and my other family as well, but my wife was my main concern at that time. Just short time together, and suddenly that's going to be it. Over.
Graham! Over here! Graham, I've got him!
I just ran with him to confirm if it was Graham. And I couldn't put into words how I felt when I saw him.
I felt quite guilty at first because they were obviously in shock and looking for me, and where I was, there was a pile of rubble where I'd been standing.
Having been with them from the point of rescue, I wanted to see it right through to the point of delivery to the hospital.
Was it burning, Murray?
Just there, Tommy. Just
okay, I was thinking I'd get some water onto it.
It was a case of keeping Murray sort of cool and keeping a close eye on Dougie, because at times he was sort of falling quiet.
Tommy, is Dougie all right? I can't see anything. Dougie!
Murray was more concerned about me than what he was about himself.
Dougie, how far are we going to go, Dougie?
When you get a casualty that's quite seriously injured, what you don't want is them to go to sleep. You want to keep them awake. You want to keep them conscious. So Murray kept this constant chatter going on for ages and ages. And it was actually, I was getting fed up with him.
Dougie, I don't know how long the rest to go. I don't know where we are. I can't... Dougie!
I don't know how far up the road we'd got, but eventually at one stage I turned to him and I said, Murray.
Dougie, I can't... Are you all...
Murray! Murray! Donny, shut up!
And I think he knew then that I was okay.
Back in the station that night, you walked in and there's 3 empty pegs. You just kind of just looked round about you and thought, huh. So I went way back through to where we keep our spare kit, and I brought 3 sets of spare kit and set them up to fill the bit up to make it look right.
An investigation later established how the explosion had been triggered. There was no warning outside, but 37 gas cylinders had been stored inside the barn.
We quite often encounter a gas cylinder in a fire. If there's a large amount of cylinders, then you would expect a sign somewhere to inform you that there is a gas installation there. In this case, there was no sign. There was more gas in the building than what there was oxygen, so therefore the gas couldn't ignite. When we opened the door to see what was happening in there, oxygen would go in through the door and mix with the gas, and suddenly the mixture would be right for it to ignite. And it'd only take a match head or some glowing ember in there to ignite the gas, and the result is the explosion.
All 3 eventually recovered from their injuries, but sadly Dougie had to leave the fire service, and so did Murray. After a long period of convalescence, Graham has now rejoined the Kirkcudbright team.
Various injuries, burns to the face, the neck, 3 fractures of my pelvis, which I was really off work for nearly a year, recuperating. Well, I've tried to put it behind me. I got back into the retained fire brigade, and that's helped me get back to the job, to forget about it. I still have my thoughts from time to time, but usually put them in the back of my mind, get on with it.
It was getting through to how near we'd been to death. The whole of my face was burnt. But it's back to normal. I've ended up being deaf in my left ear. As such, I've been retired from the fire service. From being deaf. So that was it. My sight's fine. Well, I wear glasses now, but I think that's just all age.
It's a calculated risk in that you're trained to face these risks, but you never know when the next call you get might be the last call you'll ever attend. I was very fortunate that although I was injured, I've survived the injuries. There's a lot of firemen never get that opportunity.